When Valentina woke up, she found that she was not in Prime Minister's mansion. She wanted to get up, but her whole body was in pain. Feeling dizzy, she fell back on the bed again, letting out a muffled groan. "Miss Hughes, you're awake." A maid came in when she heard the noise. "Where am I?" Valentina looked around at the strange environment and asked in confusion. She only remembered that she was being hunted down and had fainted after running into Gavin's carriage. "You're in Prince Tristan's mansion." The maid stopped Valentina from getting up. "You're seriously injured. The doctor stopped the bleeding and bandaged your wounds. Please lie down and don't move, or your wounds will split open." How long have I been asleep for? Valentina only felt sore and weak all over. After all, she was too weak, and none of her attendants were good at self-defense. The next time she encountered such a thing, she might not be so lucky. She was lucky to have met Gavin, who was passing by. 4 hours. The maid smiled gently. There were maids and female subordinates in Prince Tristan's mansion, but there had never been a female guest. Valentina was the first female guest in Prince Tristan's mansion for more than a decade, and she had been brought back by Gavin himself. Valentina struggled to sit up, but the maid hurried forwards to support her. "What time is it now?" "It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's still early. Miss, you can sleep a little longer." The maid tucked the corner of the quilt for Valentina thoughtfully, and there was a kind smile on her face. Valentina nodded with a smile and thanked the maid. The maid of Prince Tristan's mansion was much kinder than Gavin himself. "Excuse me, did anyone from Prime Minister's mansion come to pick me up?" Valentina asked softly. As soon as she sat up, she pulled her wound, thus making her gasp. When she had been chased the night before, she hadn't felt much pain. Presently, she found that the pain was unbearable. The maid shook her head slightly. No one in Prime Minister's mansion had come to them, as if no one knew about the matter. She couldn't help but feel pity for Valentina. Although Valentina was a noble lady, she was not favored by the patriarch of her family. Her life was not even as comfortable as the maid's. "No one came?" Valentina smiled sarcastically. Carter didn't care about her at all. Then again, was she really surprised? Valentina was blaming everything on Carter. In reality, one of Brody's secret guards had seen that His Highness was interested in Valentina, thus he secretly ordered the messenger to return instead of informing the Prime Minister's mansion. "Is His Highness here? I want to see him." The maid supported Valentina as she replied, "His Highness is in the mansion, but he's resting now. I'm afraid you won't be able to see him." Valentina frowned and thought for a moment. "Miss, could you please inform His Highness to ask him to send a few people to escort me back to Prime Minister's mansion? If I don't go back, my family will worry about me and my reputation will be sullied. Please inform His Highness on my behalf." "Miss Hughes, you're being too polite. Just call me Christina. Please wait a moment. I'll send a message. If His Highness is willing to see you, things will be fine. If not, you can wait for the carriage of Prince Tristan's mansion to send you back to Prime Minister's mansion. Christina, please send the message for me then." "All right, Miss Hughes. Please wait a moment." After Christina left, Valentina dressed herself up neatly and confirmed that her injuries were not too grave. Then she waited in the living room for Gavin's summon. Gavin was not asleep at the moment. As soon as Valentina woke up, he already knew about it. He thought that Valentina would be a really weak woman. He didn't expect that when she was chased by some experts, she could hold on until she met him. He didn't know if she was lucky or blessed. "Your Highness." "She wants to see me?" When Gavin saw Christina coming in, he understood why she had come. "Your Highness, Miss Hughes wants to see you and wants you to send someone to escort her back to Prime Minister's mansion." No one from Prime Minister's mansion came to pick Miss Hughes up. She seemed to have expected this. "Brody, Your Highness." "What's going on?" The corners of Brody's mouth twitched, and he stepped back slightly. "Please forgive me, Your Highness." The messenger was stopped by Timothy. "Why?" Gavin asked faintly. "Well?" The corners of Brody's mouth twitched. He couldn't tell Gavin that it was rare for those bustards to see that Gavin was interested in a woman. So they had stopped the messenger to let Gavin get along with Valentina for a while. Ask them to receive their punishment. Yes. Brody went out with a sad expression on his face. As soon as he went out, several people surrounded him. "Boss, what did His Highness say?" "Go receive your punishment. If you try to figure out what His Highness is thinking again, I won't be able to save you." Ah, everyone was depressed and were about to say something. But when they saw Gavin coming out, they disappeared in an instant. Gavin glanced at the place where the crowd had disappeared from. Without saying anything, he turned and walked towards the guest room where Valentina was. "His Highness Prince Tristan has arrived." "Greetings, Your Highness," Valentina hurriedly greeted him. Her understanding of Gavin came from her previous memory. He was known to be cold-blooded and cruel. He killed people without blinking an eye. He fought on the battlefield all year round, and his killing intent was strong. Ordinary people used the name of Prince Tristan to stop children from crying at night. It could be seen how terrifying he was. Valentina was terrified at the moment. She was so bold that she dared to ask Gavin for help. She was lucky to be saved by him. "Get up." Gavin sat down in the main seat. "I heard you want to see me." "Thank you, Your Highness, for saving my life. I shouldn't have bothered you at this time, but I was no. It's almost dawn. If I don't go back by night, my family will be worried. If word of this gets out, it will damage my reputation. Your Highness, I beg you to send me back to Prime Minister's mansion," Valentina said carefully for fear of making Gavin unhappy lest he cut her with his sword. "Beg me." Puff! Valentina almost fell to the ground. He was asking her to beg him again? What was wrong with Gavin? Wasn't it enough to ask him to save her? The previous night, she had already begged him to save her. If he didn't want to help her, he could just leave her alone. At the moment, she even had to beg him to help her get home. Gavin was so childish. "Your Highness, it's getting late. It's time for me to go back to Prime Minister's mansion." "Beg me." "I'm willing to owe you a favor, Your Highness. Please send me back to Prime Minister's mansion." Valentina did not respond to Gavin's words. "Beg me." The corners of Christina's mouth twitched, and she secretly glanced at her master. Was he really the lofty and cold prince she knew? Wasn't he pretending to be arrogant at the moment? "Your Highness, it's time for me to leave. Please allow me to leave," Valentina said dryly. Couldn't Gavin see that she was already afraid of him? Could he stop toying with her? "Beg me." Gavin gave Valentina a cold look. "Otherwise, don't even think about leaving Prince Tristan's mansion." "Your Highness, don't you think you're going too far?" Valentina was so angry that her face turned pale. Was Gavin a child? He kept asking her to beg him. "You're so daring for cursing me in your heart." Gavin looked at Valentina's angry expression and warned. Valentina smiled warmly as she replied, "Your Highness must be joking. I wouldn't dare." "It's that you don't dare, not that you didn't do it." The corner of Valentina's mouth twitched. Looking at Gavin, who said such arrogant words with a cold expression on his face, she kept complaining in her heart. This must be a dream. How could the cold and aloof Prince Tristan be so childish? "Your Highness, you have no right to imprison me in Prince Tristan's mansion," Valentina gritted her teeth and said. She did not believe that Gavin would really kill her if she crossed him. Gavin leaned over and reached out to pinch Valentina's chin, forcing her to look at him. "If I imprison you in Prince Tristan's mansion, no one will dare to save you." "Your Highness, if you won't allow me to go to Prime Minister's mansion, can you ask the people of Duke Johnston's mansion to pick me up then?" Valentina asked in a trembling voice. "Do you think I'm afraid of Duke Johnston's mansion?" Gavin reached out to hold Valentina's waist and forced her to move closer to him. "If I request for the king's decree to take you away, can Duke Matthews take you away from me?" "Your Highness, did I do anything to make you unhappy?" Valentina couldn't think of the reason why Gavin was treating her in such a way. She rarely left Prime Minister's mansion and had never interacted with Gavin, so she couldn't have offended him. "Yes!" Gavin approached Valentina and sniffed. Valentina was so startled that she kept trembling. Her appearance pleased Gavin as he had thought that Valentina was not afraid of him. "You didn't beg me." "Damn you!" Valentina felt that her good temper was being tested by Gavin. Beg him? Why should she beg him? He was too insatiable. Valentina opened her eyes and looked at Gavin. "Your Highness, don't force me. I'm a demanding person by nature." Valentina looked at Gavin and her chest was rapidly heaving. "Your Highness, I already begged you last night." You begged me last night, so I saved you. If you want me to send you back today, you must beg me again." Gavin held Valentina's waist, basking in the wonderful feeling. In the past, when women approached him, they made him feel sick. Currently, he was holding Valentina in his arms, but he did not want to let go of her. What was going on? No, Valentina was furious. Gavin was being so unreasonable. Gavin looked at Valentina, who was burning with anger, and the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. "That's right, you're so young, but you always have a fake smile on your face. Even looking at it is tiring." "What?" Gavin loosened his grip on Valentina's waist and turned to leave calmly. "Men, send Miss Hughes back to Prime Minister's mansion secretly." "But my men have not gone to Prime Minister's mansion to report her appearance, and I have also informed the people of Duke Johnston's mansion of your predicament. They will not make it public. I will send someone to send you back to Prime Minister's mansion secretly, so just pretend that you have never left the mansion." Valentina couldn't adapt to Gavin's sudden change in attitude. After a long time, she stammered, "Thank you, Your Highness." "Remember, you owe me one." "I will remember your kindness." Valentina looked at Gavin's back as he left, and her heart was pounding. How could Gavin suddenly be so kind and go to inform Duke Johnston's mansion? That was not in line with his image as a cold-blooded, cruel, and murderous man. When Valentina returned to Prime Minister's mansion, the secret guard of Prince Tristan's mansion brought her over the wall. As soon as she entered her room, she saw Melanie standing guard in the room. When Melanie saw that Valentina had returned, her tears immediately rolled down. "Miss Valentina." "Shh." Valentina motioned for her to keep quiet. "Hurry up and help me change. It's almost dawn. We still have a tough fight ahead of us." "Yes, Miss Valentina." Melanie quickly changed Valentina's clothes and tidied her hair. Although Valentina's face was a little pale, she had been injured the day before, so it wasn't weird. The wounds on her body were a nuisance, but the medical skills of the doctor of Prince Tristan's mansion were good. Valentina's wounds were well bandaged and would not be exposed. Mabel came as soon as the sun rose because someone had told Madame Hughes that Valentina had not returned all night. When Mabel came in, Valentina was still lying on the bed and Melanie was serving her medicine. How could it be possible for Valentina to leave the mansion when she looked so weak? "Miss Valentina." "Mabel." Valentina struggled to sit up, but Melanie quickly helped her up. "Please forgive me. I'm weak and can't go to greet grandmother. I ask for her forgiveness." Mabel nodded with a smile. "You were injured in the head when Mr. Matthews sent you home yesterday. Madame Hughes asked me to visit you yesterday, but she was worried I would affect your recovery, so I came here today." "I've made grandmother worried for nothing. A few days ago, Caroline came over and said that it was too boring for me to recuperate at home, so she begged father to let us go out for a walk." Valentina said, "I didn't want to learn how to ride a horse, but Caroline said since she had hurt her hand, she couldn't do it. She hoped I could learn in her stead, so I had no choice but to agree. However, the horse was startled. I was thrown off the horse's back and fainted. I woke up once last night and ate something, but I forgot to inform grandmother about it. That was a mistake on my part." "Miss Valentina, you woke up yesterday. Did you find out that Miss Caroline was also injured?" "Caroline is injured?" Valentina looked at Mabel in surprise. "Melanie, why didn't I hear you mention it?" "Miss Valentina, please forgive me. Yesterday, you were injured so gravely. I was so worried about you that I forgot about Miss Caroline's injury." Melanie knelt and apologized. "While you fell off the horse and fainted, the horse went mad, trampled on Miss Caroline and broke her leg." "What? What should we do?" "I was accompanying Caroline for a walk because she said going out to get some fresh air was good for her recovery. I didn't expect such a thing to happen. Caroline must be sorrowful. Melanie, hurry up. Go to my mother and ask for some quality medicine for Caroline. We can't allow anything to happen to Caroline." Mabel was satisfied with Valentina's attitude, but the reason Mabel had come to see her was because someone had said that Valentina had gone out the night before and failed to return. "Miss Valentina, why is there only one maid serving you?" "I don't like to keep the servants with me. When I woke up last night, only Melanie was with me. When I woke up this morning, she remained as well. Eliana appeared for a while, but there was no sign of Adeline. Grandmother punished Charlotte, so I only have Melanie with me." Mabel frowned. "Adeline is with Madame Hughes." "What?" Valentina rubbed her forehead with her hand and said, "That girl did something wrong to make grandmother angry. Mabel, please plead with grandmother on my behalf. Adeline was insensible and didn't mean to do that. Mabel." "Miss Valentina," Mabel interrupted her. "Miss Valentina, Adeline didn't do anything wrong." "Oh, that's good." Valentina patted her chest and breathed a sigh of relief. Upon seeing her reaction, Mabel felt that it was a pity that Valentina was so worried over Adeline when the latter had gone to Madame Hughes to rat her out. "Miss Valentina, Adeline went to Madame Hughes and told her you did not return home all night." "What? How could Adeline do this to Miss Valentina?" "Miss Valentina went to bed after taking the medicine last night." "How could she have gone out?" Melanie asked in surprise, as if she was shocked by Adeline's report. "Ahem, ahem." Valentina coughed a few times, and her face became paler and paler. She smiled bitterly and said, "It seems I've been negligent for her to slander me like this." With that, she shed tears. "Melanie, help me change my clothes and wash my face. I'm going to my grandmother's place." "Miss Valentina, but your body." "It doesn't matter. It's just a small injury. I should make an appearance. Mother must be worried about me. If I had done a good job and controlled my subordinates well, I wouldn't be like this. Don't say anything else. Just help me wash up," Valentina said, not allowing Melanie to refuse. Mabel nodded and waited aside. She watched as Melanie washed and dressed Valentina. As Valentina's face was pale, Melanie dressed her in brighter clothes to improve her complexion. Valentina looked at her appearance in the mirror and frowned. "Melanie, help me put some rouge on. My complexion is terrible. I'm afraid grandmother will fret." Mabel's eyes flashed slightly, and she looked up at Valentina. Usually Caroline, Vivian, and Sabrina often went to Madame Hughes' place to visit her. Although Valentina went a little less often, she was still filial to Madame Hughes. "Prepare a soft sedan chair for Miss Valentina," Mabel gave a thoughtful order. "Thank you, Mabel. I'm just doing my duties. Miss Valentina, your body hasn't recovered yet. Madame Hughes won't punish you." All was silent in the upper courtyard. Adeline knelt on the ground and did not dare to look up. After selling Valentina out, Monica had said she would transfer Adeline to Orchid Courtyard, so Adeline could not back out anymore. Furthermore, Valentina had not returned by the time she left. Mabel would not be able to find Valentina's maid, even if she went. Vivian tugged at Sarah's sleeve, and the latter shook her head. It was best for them not to say anything at such a time. Everyone had seen how Valentina had gotten injured and unconscious the day before. However, Adeline had mentioned that Valentina had not returned the previous night. Wasn't she implying that Valentina was only pretending to be unconscious and that she tried to harm Caroline? "Madame Hughes, we've been waiting for so long. Why hasn't Miss Valentina arrived yet?" Eve could not help asking. "Miss Valentina is injured and weak. How can she compare with you, Madame Simpson?" Sarah smiled sarcastically, wanting to add insult to injury. After all, Valentina had the support of Duke Johnston's mansion. "Madame Hughes, Miss Valentina is here." Yes. Adeline's eyelids twitched. It was impossible for Valentina to come back home in time. "Speak of the devil. This girl here is Miss Valentina's maid. She said Miss Valentina didn't return all night, and no one knows what Miss Valentina was up to." "Madame Simpson." Madame Hughes glanced at Eve lightly. Eve did not dare to say anything more. Someone helped Valentina in. Her face was pale, but there was some faux blush on her face. She seemed weak, and her head was bandaged. It seemed as if she would faint any moment. Seeing her, Madame Hughes held back her scolding. "Greetings, grandmother. I'm sorry for making you worry. Please forgive me." After saying that, Valentina glanced at the trembling Adeline, who was kneeling on the ground, and said, "Adeline, I haven't seen you since I woke up last night. I didn't expect that you would come to grandmother's place." Hearing that, Adeline lowered her head, but when she thought of Monica's orders, she gritted her teeth and looked up at Valentina. "Miss Valentina, last night I saw Melanie accompany you out, but I waited outside the courtyard for a whole night and didn't see you return. Where did you go? Are you okay?" "I was anxious, so I came to Madame Hughes and asked her to send someone out to find you." A weak smile appeared on Valentina's face as she said, "You're so considerate." Madame Hughes looked at Mabel, who shook her head. Then Madame Hughes asked, "Valentina, what's going on?" "Grandmother, I wonder as well. Might I have treated Adeline so harshly that she wants to smear my reputation? You should know how important a girl's reputation is. However, Adeline wanted to ruin me. Grandmother, the maid in the courtyard said she failed to see Adeline return since last night. She was not even in the courtyard at all. How could she witness me leaving and not returning? I have such a weak body, and I was injured yesterday. I would have fainted as soon as I left, let alone been able to go out for a night. I don't know what she wants to accomplish by framing me. Grandmother, please investigate this carefully and help me." After saying that, Valentina knelt on the ground with a sad expression. A servant, Emmy, also came in and bowed slowly. "Madam Hughes, someone saw Adeline secretly go to Miss Caroline's courtyard last night, but as Miss Caroline was injured, Adeline failed to meet her. Adeline lingered outside Miss Caroline's courtyard for nearly 2 hours, and then someone saw her quietly head to Madame Powell's courtyard." Emmy stopped right there. Everyone knew what was going on. Adeline had been planted in Cincinnati Garden by Monica to be a spy. When Adeline heard that Caroline, whom she had sought refuge with, had been injured, Adeline wanted to show her loyalty. Then, Monica came up with the idea to smear Valentina's reputation. "How dare you!" Madame Hughes slammed the table. Adeline trembled with fear as she pleaded, "Madame Hughes, what I said is true. Miss Valentina didn't come back last night. Madame Hughes, you have to believe me. Adeline, I've always treated you well, but you want to kill me. You're so vicious." Valentina pointed at Adeline, trembling. "I treated you as a sister, but you're treating me like this." "Mabel, drag this servant who has slandered her mistress out and beat her to death," Madame Hughes ordered for Adeline's death coldly. "Madame Hughes, please spare my life. Madame Hughes, please spare my life. I didn't lie to you. Madame Hughes, please spare my life." Hearing that she was going to be beaten to death, Adeline was so scared that she burst into tears and lost her composure. For a moment, the whole room was filled with the smell of urine as she wet herself. "How dare you beg for mercy when you've committed such a crime? Hurry up and drag this filthy thing out." Emmy shouted, Miss Valentina, please save me. I know I'm in the wrong. I won't do it again in the future. Miss Valentina, please save me. It's not me who wants to hurt you. It's Madam." Emmy quickly covered Adeline's mouth. "Take her out and beat her to death." Although Adeline was dragged out to be punished, everyone knew that it was Monica who had set up a trap to frame Valentina. "Valentina, you don't have any useful servants around you at all. How about I give you Leslie?" Madame Hughes said coldly. "I don't want such dirty things to happen all the time." "Thank you, grandmother." Valentina was on the verge of collapse. Madame Hughes quickly asked someone to help Valentina up. "Grandmother, I don't know where Charlotte is now, but could I take her back?" Madame Hughes frowned. She had almost forgotten about Charlotte. "Mabel, bring Charlotte here." "Yes, Madame Hughes." When Valentina saw that Madame Hughes had agreed to let Charlotte return, she smiled weakly and murmured, "Thank you, grandmother." Miss Valentina. Before Valentina could finish her words, she fainted again. The whole upper courtyard was in chaos, and the matter could no longer be hidden from Janelle, who was being taken care of because of her pregnancy in the main courtyard. Due to the matter, Janelle unleashed her dominant side. She asked a doctor to treat Valentina's injuries and sold all of Adeline's family members into slavery. As the matriarch of the family, she punished Monica to copy scriptures at the small religious hall. The once gentle and docile Janelle's anger reminded people that she was not the daughter of a small and powerless family. She didn't compete with others because she disdained rivalry, not because she was incapable. Monica had crossed Janelle's limits. In Cincinnati Garden, the doctor was busy at work. Janelle's expression was full of anger. Had she been too soft-hearted as to cause those servants to bully her and slander Valentina, saying she did not return for a night? How could Valentina stay out all night with her physique? By ignoring Monica and Caroline, she had caused them to become so arrogant. "Mrs. Hughes, don't lose your temper. You're pregnant." Louisa hurriedly persuaded Janelle. If the baby were to be affected by Janelle's stress, it would be a pity. "I know." Janelle sighed and felt helpless. However, she genuinely did not want to involve herself in the filthy business of the Prime Minister's mansion. The sight of those concubines stressed her out enough. Mrs. Hughes, Duchess Matthews, and Mr. Matthews are here. Janelle went out to welcome them. Priscilla, Weston. As soon as Weston came in, he asked anxiously, "Aunt Janelle, how is Valen?" "Alas, that girl has been through too much. She hasn't woken up yet." Seeing that Janelle could not stop wiping her tears, Priscilla tried to calm her down. "Janelle, you're pregnant. Don't cry. It's not good for your health or for the baby. Valen is a blessed child. She'll be fine. I'll send you back to the main courtyard. There are already maids stationed here. You're pregnant, so they naturally have to be more careful around you." "I can't help myself from worrying." "Don't worry. Valen will be fine." Priscilla gave Weston a look, hinting she would take Janelle away, and he could take the opportunity to see how Valen was doing. Weston nodded. After watching the two of them leave, he entered Valentina's room. Melanie was serving Valentina by the bed, and Leslie was also standing by the bed. "How is Valentina?" "Mr. Matthews, Miss Valentina hasn't woken up yet." "Melanie, stay. The rest of you can leave." "Yes." When everyone left, Weston sat by the bed and said angrily, "Stop pretending." Valentina opened her eyes and smiled ingratiatingly at Weston, greeting him. "Weston, you scared us to death last night. Grandfather almost rushed to Prince Tristan's mansion to get you. How bold of you to go to Prince Tristan's mansion." Weston's expression was full of fear. Valentina pouted and said, "There's no other way. At that time, Prince Tristan was the only person who passed by, so I had to ask him for help. If I fell into the hands of Prince Tristan, I still had a shot at living. If I fell into the hands of others, I would die." What kind of person is Prince Tristan, though? He has never approached women. No woman who got close to him had a good ending and all ended up dead in his hands. How could you be so bold? Prince Tristan's mansion sent someone to say you were there, and grandfather panicked on the spot. Thinking of his grandfather's ugly expression, Weston couldn't help trembling. He couldn't help but wipe his cold sweat. "Weston, Prince Tristan is not as terrible as the rumors say. Those rumors are lies." "You're lying," Weston pointed at Valentina. "When Prince Tristan was 13, he followed his grandfather to the battlefield. Each time, he killed all the captives in his hands and left no one alive. He killed so many that the enemies would retreat when they heard Prince Tristan's name on the battlefield. Those rumors exist for a reason." The corners of Valentina's mouth twitched as she replied, "Being kind to the enemy is being cruel to yourself. I don't think there's anything wrong with Prince Tristan doing that." Weston smirked as well as he continued to say, "Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. However, when Prince Tristan was 16, Princess Estella climbed into his bed and ended up getting all her limbs cut off. At the age of 17, the king gave him 4 beauties. All they did was touch his sleeves, yet he threw them into a military camp. When he turned 18, a defeated country gave up their princess to him. The princess stripped herself naked and went into his bed. Upon that, he asked someone to strip the princess of her skin. That is why all women in Capital City avoid him like he's a snake." Valentina gulped awkwardly. When she thought of how she had yelled at Gavin and gone against him, she immediately broke out in a cold sweat. "Weston, don't scare me like that. I scolded Prince Tristan, yet I'm alive and well?" Weston's whole body trembled. "Did you scold Prince Tristan?" "Not only did I scold him, but I also slept in the bed of Prince Tristan's mansion and yelled at him." The more Valentina said, the paler Weston's face became. It was over. Since she offended Gavin, she would die. "In the future, stay away from Prince Tristan, or you'll lose your life over nothing." Weston looked as if he was exasperated at Valentina's failure to live up to his expectations. "Prince Tristan is such a terrifying man. How did you get the guts to go against him?" "Weston, is Prince Tristan really that scary?" Valentina couldn't believe it. Although Gavin was cold, arrogant, and cold-blooded, he wasn't that scary, was he? "He is more terrible than the rumors claim." Weston was silent for a moment. "It probably has something to do with his family background. Alas, Prince Tristan is also a pitiful person. No matter what, he saved my life, so I owe him." Valentina thought for a moment. "Weston, tell me more about Prince Tristan. One day, I will repay him for saving my life." Looking at Valentina's determined facial expression, Weston thought for a moment, then said, Well, I know some things about Prince Tristan, but I mostly heard about it from grandfather. I have to start from 12 years ago. At that time, Prince Tristan's mother, Consort Ross, was the king's favorite concubine and caused a lot of people to hate her. Valentina quietly listened to Weston's story. Gavin was only 8 years old when his mother died. The king hated Gavin, so he was thrown out of the palace and lived alone. Hearing about the various assassination attempts by his brothers, Valentina felt sorry for that cold and arrogant man. She was to blame for her miserable previous life. However, Gavin was different. Originally, Gavin was a prince who was the apple of his parents' eyes. However, overnight, his mother's death caused his father to hate him and force him out of the palace to live alone. Gavin struggled to live alone outside the palace. If Valentina went through the same thing, she would have died long ago. However, Gavin had survived. Weston, it's not that Prince Tristan is cold-blooded and cruel, but that reality forced him to be like that. No one is born a villain, and I don't think he is a bad person at all. After listening to Weston's words, Valentina expressed her thoughts. On the contrary, I admire Prince Tristan very much. Without the love of his parents and the support of outsiders, he has become who he is today. It can be seen that Prince Tristan is a real fighter. If it were you, Weston, you would be unable to do the same. Weston was silent. Yes, Gavin was a real fighter, a real hero, but he didn't dare to give up his cousin to such a man because Gavin was also dangerous and terrible. Valen, Prince Tristan is a real man, a real hero, but such a man is also dangerous and terrible. He is not suitable for you, Weston said sincerely. Hearing that, Valentina burst into laughter and said, Weston, what are you thinking? Prince Tristan is a real hero, and he saved my life, but it doesn't mean that I want to marry him. You didn't fall in love with Prince Tristan because he rescued you? Weston didn't believe it. Gavin was the most outstanding and most masculine among the nation's princes. Valentina rolled her eyes and said, Weston, you worry too much. I am very grateful that Prince Tristan saved me, but gratitude doesn't mean I'll give myself to him. A man like Prince Tristan needs someone to love him wholeheartedly and understand him. Only a woman who can walk with him together can match him. I don't think I deserve such a man. Prince Tristan is such a good man. I think you are more than enough to be worthy of him. Weston was not happy with Valentina's words as he heard her belittle herself. In his opinion, all men in the world were not worthy of his cousin. Weston, you're being ridiculous. Valentina covered her mouth and snickered. How can you be laughing? Weston pinched Valentina's nose. We were so scared last night that we didn't have a good night's sleep. This morning we came to see you, but you have no conscience and you're even laughing. Yes, I was wrong. Weston, please forgive me. I will come to apologize in person, repent, and correct my mistakes. Enough. Weston rubbed his forehead helplessly. You used to be a good girl, but now all you know is make trouble. I used to worry about you being bullied, but I'm worried you've caused too much trouble. What if we can't handle this? I'm so concerned about you. Hey, Weston, when you frown, you look like an ugly old man. Valentina reached out and rubbed Weston's brows. Weston, you're most handsome when you smile. I like seeing you smile. Hey, you're still looking down on me? Let's see how I'll deal with you. As he spoke, Weston was about to tickle Valentina. She quickly dodged but accidentally pulled on her wound. Ah, Valentina gasped. The wound that had been bandaged had reopened and fresh blood seeped out. Weston was dumbfounded. He was about to call for a physician when Valentina stopped him. Don't say a word. What's going on? Didn't you say you're fine? Weston's hands were trembling. Don't let others find out about it. It's just a superficial wound. Valentina took a deep breath to calm down from the pain of the wound. Weston, help me investigate a person. Who is it? Andrew Spencer. Valentina thought of the news that Brody had told her. He was the one who hired the killer last night. Don't worry. I will investigate this matter. No matter who that person is, Duke Johnston's mansion will not let him go. Weston agreed and reached out to pat Valentina's head. Have a good rest. I will get someone to send you some quality medicine. Don't go out these days. Take good care of yourself at home. Don't let us be worried. Don't worry, Weston. I will take care of myself. Okay, Melanie, help Valentina get changed. I'll go first. Weston, take care. Valentina watched Weston leave with faint warmth in her eyes. As Valentina had been in grave danger the night before, a secret guard was sent by the impulsive Gavin to protect Valentina. He heard what Valentina said and wrote everything down. Looking at the message, Gavin had a complicated look in his eyes. He crumpled the paper in his hand, then spread it out. Finally, he folded it carefully and put it away. Valentina Hughes, I have decided I will make you fall in love with me. As Valentina and Caroline were injured, there was a rare silence in the Prime Minister's mansion. Vivian often went to Valentina's Cincinnati garden. On the surface, it seemed she was visiting her sister, but everyone else knew her true purpose. After all, Weston often came to see Valentina as well, and he was noble and had not married yet. Valentina, you look much better. You fainted at grandmother's that day. You gave us a fright. Vivian patted her chest. Valentina, you passed out, so you had no idea how angry Mother was when she heard about the incident. She ordered for all of Adeline's family members to be sold and punished Madame Powell to copy scriptures in the small religious hall. Even grandmother was frightened by how angry she was. Valentina smiled faintly and said, Thank you for coming to see me, Vivian. Otherwise, I'd be sad if I were to recuperate at home alone. We're sisters, so it's only natural for me to visit you. Vivian smiled bashfully. Every movement of hers was charming. Valentina, I haven't seen Mr. Matthews come over in the past few days. Is he busy? Valentina narrowed her eyes and immediately understood Vivian's recent unusual behavior. Vivian had taken a fancy to Weston. Unfortunately, she would rather Weston not marry than allow him to marry a woman from the Prime Minister's mansion. Duke Johnston's mansion already had so much on their plate. She couldn't let them take on another burden. Weston is a busy man. How can he come to see me every day? He is quite occupied. Oh, you're right, Vivian said in disappointment. Tears welled up in her bright eyes. If Weston saw her, he would probably be bewitched. Valentina couldn't help but click her tongue. It was fortunate that Weston wasn't someone who was keen on appearance, or else she would be worried that he would fall for Vivian. Valentina couldn't help but shake her head. Sarah Stewart was a lady of the Prime Minister's mansion, and she had taught her daughter to be a coquettish woman. Fortunately, Carter didn't care about his other daughters, except for Caroline. Otherwise, he would die of anger. Miss Valentina, Miss Sabrina is here. Sabrina? Valentina was confused. What day was it? Even Sabrina, who had never set foot in Cincinnati Garden, had come. Wasn't Sabrina always fond of currying favor with Caroline? Valentina's eyes flickered slightly. After thinking about it for a while, she understood what was going on. If she remembered correctly, it would be the Queen's birthday next month. In her previous life, Valentina was not favored by everyone because of her bad reputation. However, Caroline had comforted her with fake good intentions and asked her to assist her behind the scenes so that Caroline would be in the limelight at the Queen's banquet. It was also then that she met the heartless jerk, Prince Morrison's eldest son, Nicholas Morrison. Greetings, Valentina and Vivian. Sabrina at ease. Why do you have time to come to Cincinnati Garden today? Valentina smiled gently as if she had not seen through everyone's intentions. I should have come to see you long ago, but Mrs. Hughes said that you needed to rest and that you should not be disturbed. It was not until you were well that I dared to meet you. How kind of you. Valentina did not expose her. It was Monica and Caroline who had a deadly feud with her. As long as others did not offend her, she could turn a blind eye to other things. I heard that Caroline's temper has been terrible recently. The maids who serve her have all suffered. Sabrina could not help but say, Valentina, I heard that Caroline has lost her hands and legs. Oh, is she that seriously injured? Valentina asked in confusion. Was it the injury she got when we went out for an outing that day? Yes, Valentina, you were in a coma back then. After Mr. Matthews sent you back, Mr. Scott's men sent Caroline, who had broken her leg, back. The doctor said that even if Caroline's leg was cured, there might be trouble in the future, and she might become lame, Vivian gloated. That's really an unexpected predicament, Valentina sighed. We just wanted to go out for some fresh air, but I didn't expect such a disaster to happen. Valentina, it's obvious that Caroline wants to hurt you. Why are you defending her? Sabrina could not help but ask. If she had encountered something like that, she would have fought Caroline to the death. Valentina smiled faintly and said, "Sabrina, you're overthinking things. It was an accident that I was injured, and what happened to Caroline was also an accident. Sabrina, don't say such things again." "Yes, Valentina." Sabrina was still young. She was only 10 and Vivian was 12, so they spoke their minds. "It's getting late. It's time for you to go back." Valentina had no intention of dealing with them, so she simply asked them to leave. "Valentina." Sabrina hesitated and refused to leave. "Is there anything else?" Sabrina twisted a few times and said, "Valentina, I heard that the Queen's birthday banquet will be next month." Valentina raised her head and looked at Sabrina. Sabrina lowered her head and did not dare to look at Valentina. She refused to leave until she got confirmation from Valentina. "It's indeed Her Majesty's birthday next month. What's wrong? What's the matter?" Valentina asked with a smile. "Valentina!" Sabrina stomped her feet unhappily. "You know what I'm talking about, so why do you bother to ask?" Vivian glanced at Sabrina with disdain in her eyes. Valentina was the legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's mansion and the granddaughter and cousin of Duke Johnston's mansion. She had a noble status, while Sabrina was a concubine's daughter. She was asking Valentina for a favor, but she was talking to Valentina in such a way. How stupid she was. "I know what you want, so I asked you on purpose." Valentina picked up the teacup on the table and raised the corner of her mouth with a faint smile. "Why do you say that, Sabrina?" "Valentina, you are the only legitimate daughter of Prime Minister's mansion and the cousin and granddaughter of Duke Johnston's mansion. You have the right to attend the palace banquet, but we don't." Sabrina was secretly annoyed. So what? How dare you? Sabrina was as arrogant and domineering as Caroline. In the past, Valentina had been tolerant, but she no longer had to fake it. "Valentina, shouldn't you think more about your sisters in your family? Think more about you?" Valentina sneered. "Sabrina, what right do you have to ask me to think about you? Father is in charge of the matters outside the mansion. Grandmother and Madam Stuart are in charge of the internal affairs. What should I think about?" "Valentina, if you don't want to help me, just say it. You don't have to be like this." Sabrina's temper flared. Due to her young age, Carter was a little more tolerant and indulgent with her, which led to her spoiled personality. That was why she got along well with Caroline. "It's not that I don't want to, but I can't. Melanie, see them off." "Humph, do you think you're so popular?" Sabrina turned around and ran away with resentment. Valentina put down the teacup in her hand, and her expression did not change as she said, "Vivian, you should go back first." "Okay. Valentina, have a good rest. I'll go back first." Vivian turned around and gracefully left, but Valentina didn't even look at her. During the Queen's birthday banquet, the gift ceremony had been a disaster in her previous life, which had led to her miserable life. Leslie came in and reported, "Miss Valentina, Charlotte is back." Valentina nodded. "Let her in." "Yes. Greetings, Miss Valentina." Charlotte had suffered a lot in Madame Hughes's hands, and her originally plump cheeks had become more gaunt. "How did you lose so much weight?" Valentina said with pity. "It's good that you're back. You have to listen to Leslie well in the future." "Yes, miss." Charlotte was terrified of Madame Hughes's people. That kind of fear was engraved in her bones. "I will be in your guidance, Leslie. There's no need to be so polite. Take good care of Miss Valentina in the future and don't talk nonsense. Madame Hughes only sent me to take care of Miss Valentina because she saw that there were no other useful people around her." "I feel sorry for worrying, grandmother." Valentina sighed. "Leslie, I haven't visited Caroline yet. Melanie, choose some gifts for Leslie to send to Caroline." Leslie nodded. "Yes, miss." As soon as Leslie went out, a strange smile appeared on the corner of Valentina's mouth as she asked, "Charlotte, Adeline was killed and her family members were all sold into slavery. Do you know that?" Charlotte gulped and looked up at Valentina. She was so scared that she lowered her head again. She always felt that Valentina was getting more and more terrifying, and her gaze looked as if she wanted to devour Charlotte. "Yes, I do. You have been in the mansion since you were a child. You had no parents and no attachments. Now, grandmother hates you, and you've betrayed me." Valentina's voice was soft, but with every word she spoke, Charlotte trembled. Valentina knew that Charlotte had betrayed her, so she had used Madame Hughes to punish Charlotte. However, didn't Valentina lose her memory? Why did she remember such things at this time? Could it be? Charlotte looked up at Valentina and she was so scared that she immediately lowered her head. Valentina was putting on an act. "I know I'm in the wrong. Please forgive me, Miss Valentina. I won't do it again." Valentina smiled slightly and said, "I heard that my father stayed in Madame Powell's yard last night." Melanie understood and nodded. "Yes, Miss Valentina?" "Madame Powell is in poor health and can't serve my father. It's time for you to remind my mother to find someone to serve my father," Valentina said slowly, but she looked at Charlotte. "Go and get cleaned up before you come back to serve. Remember your duty. You betrayed me, and I won't give you your old position. You can be regarded as a second-class maid and serve in the outer courtyard. Remember, if you dare to betray me again in the future, what happened to Adeline will happen to you too. I won't dare to do such a thing again. You may leave." "Yes." "Miss Valentina, Charlotte is obviously—" Valentina raised her hand to stop Melanie from speaking. Soon she saw Leslie coming in. "Miss Valentina, I have asked someone to send the gifts to Miss Caroline." Valentina's eyes flashed. It seemed that Leslie, who was sent by Madame Hughes, did not take her seriously. After all, she was just a legitimate daughter who was not favored by her father and grandmother. Janelle had not given birth yet, and the baby's gender was uncertain. Therefore, it was reasonable for Madame Hughes not to like her. "Got it. You may leave." "Yes, Miss Valentina." Leslie left calmly without any respect for Valentina. Her movements were filled with obvious contempt. "Melanie, find out where my father will be tonight. I should also send a gift to him and thank Madame Powell for taking care of me." "Yes, Miss Valentina." Monica found out that not only had Valentina come back alive, but she had also removed her chess piece, Adeline. At the same time, Monica had angered Janelle as well. Janelle had been good-tempered for many years and had never taken such things to heart, but she was currently furious. Monica could not help but feel hatred surge in her heart. They were all good-for-nothings. They could not even kill a weak little girl. Useless, useless. They are all useless. They can't even handle such a small thing. Monica roared and pushed all the things on the table to the ground. Cameron and Samara watched on with fear. "Madame Powell, you are pregnant now. Please be mindful." Samara tried to dissuade her. If anything happened to the child in Monica's belly, all their lives would be in danger. "Right, my child." Monica stroked her swollen belly, and there was a vicious light in her eyes. "I'll lose my temper if I want to. By doing so, I can leave the main courtyard." "Madame Powell." Cameron gulped and felt a little uneasy. However, Monica's expression was terrifying right then. "Madame Powell, you must take good care of yourself. Miss Caroline is injured. If anything happens to you and the young master, how can the innocent Miss Caroline live?" Samara could not help but say, "Also, Madame Powell, Charlotte has returned to Sinadi courtyard." "Charlotte," a cold light flashed in Monica's eyes. "Samara, Cameron, copy the scriptures for me. I want to leave in 3 days." "Yes, Madame Powell." In Blosserid courtyard, Caroline was lying on the bed with a ferocious expression. Her originally lively eyes were full of viciousness and ferocity as she cursed. "Valentina, you bitch!" "Miss Caroline, don't get angry. What you need to do now is to recuperate." Hadley held on to Caroline's shoulder. Monica was smart. She knew that Caroline would be agitated when she learned that she was punished, which is why she stationed Hadley there. Otherwise, who knows what would happen if Caroline lost her temper? "You old thing, how dare you touch me?" Hadley exerted a little more strength, which made Caroline angry. "Since my mother has lost power, you think you can disrespect me? Believe it or not, I'll get someone to beat you to death." Caroline was furious. In recent days, she had been severely hurt physically and mentally. She had lived a calm life and had never experienced such suffering. First, her hands were burned and the burned flesh had to be severely scraped and treated. Then, her leg was trampled by a horse. She had become lame. Even Carter, who had always doted on her, stopped paying attention to her. He had never come to see her in the past few days, ever since she had gotten injured. Hadley's heart skipped a beat. Everything she had done was for Monica and Caroline, but Caroline treated her in such a way. For a moment, she felt a chill in her heart. "Miss Caroline, It will be the Queen's birthday next month. Don't you want to attend? Hadley had watched Caroline grow up, so she was clear about what Caroline cared about. Right, the Queen's birthday party. Caroline panicked instantly. Hadley, you have to help me. That is my only chance. Hadley, I beg you. I must attend it. Before Madame Powell went to the religious hall, she asked me to prepare you for the Queen's birthday party next month. Miss Caroline, please restrain the hatred in your heart for the time being. Madame Powell said that Miss Valentina will never be able to make a comeback after the Queen's birthday party. Hadley comforted Caroline. Your hands have almost recovered. Your legs are more dire. It will take 100 days for your muscles and bones to heal. Whether you can attend the birthday party depends on your recuperation during this period. Hadley, I beg you. You must help me. I don't want to become disabled and marry someone who has nothing. Hadley, I'm begging you. You must help me. Caroline kept crying. Miss Caroline, Madame Powell sent me here to help you. Hadley said calmly. Miss Caroline, during this period, I will stay by your side to serve you until the Queen's birthday party. Hadley, I knew you would have a solution. Miss Caroline, please be more patient for the time being. Don't meddle in the affairs outside. Take care of yourself and wait for the Queen's birthday party. Although you can't recover completely, it doesn't matter as long as you can attend the party. Hadley handed the medicine to Caroline. However, Miss Caroline, you must listen to me and take the medicine to recover. All right, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to everything you say. As Hadley tried to persuade Caroline, the upper courtyard was in a mess. Sabrina ran to Madame Hughes and complained tearfully that Valentina had bullied her using her position as the legitimate daughter. After hearing that, Madame Hughes had a headache. She immediately asked someone to summon Valentina to go to the upper courtyard. Seeing that it was Mabel, Valentina bowed slightly and said, Thank you for coming, Mabel. I'll go and pay respects to grandmother. Melanie, bring along the gift I prepared for grandmother. Yes. Give it to Leslie. She will go to see grandmother with me. Yes. Leslie looked at the hairpin on the tray with amazement in her eyes. When Janelle got married, she had been given a lot of dowry from Duke Johnston's mansion that a line of servants had been needed to carry them. Everything had been a luxurious affair. At that time, Carter had been admired by everyone, and the things Valentina was gifted with were even better. Janelle gave almost all the good things to Valentina. Mabel took a look and a smile flashed in her eyes. Valentina quietly gave her an emerald bracelet and said, Mabel, thank you for your hard work. You're too courteous, Miss Valentina. In the inner courtyard, other than the pregnant Janelle and Monica, the other concubines were present as well. Everyone present had secret motives. Although Madame Hughes did not say anything openly, she was scheming. Even though she had the title of honorary lady, she was only a third-grade one. She could only bring one person into the palace. As for Caroline, she could enter the palace because of her relationship with Consort Powell. However, there was still someone who was unable to enter. Thus, that person must be brought in by Valentina. Valentina was not only the legitimate daughter of Prime Minister's mansion, but also the granddaughter of Duke Johnston's mansion. Although she had no rank, she could bring someone into the palace with her. Madame Hughes, Miss Valentina is here. Greetings, grandmother. Valentina greeted Madame Hughes as soon as she came in. Valentina, you have lost weight these days. Come and sit beside me. Madame Hughes patted the seat beside her and motioned for Valentina to sit down. Madame Hughes' action immediately caused Vivian and Sabrina's expressions to change. However, Vivian quickly restrained herself, while Sabrina's eyes burned with anger. Sabrina wanted nothing more than to drag Valentina down and sit on the seat herself. In the past, only Caroline could sit on that seat, but Valentina was just granted that honor then. Grandmother, Sabrina came to me yesterday and told me I should be more considerate of my sisters as Her Majesty's birthday party is approaching. Sabrina is only 10 years old. If outsiders were to hear her, they would think that the young ladies of our Prime Minister's mansion can't wait to get married. Sabrina! Grandmother! Sabrina had never expected that Valentina would tell Madame Hughes the truth. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She knelt and said, Grandmother, I didn't mean that. I just asked Valentina if she had any suggestions for the Queen's birthday. It's not like what she said. Valentina glanced at Sabrina and said with a smile, "Grandmother, the rules of the palace are strict. A concubine's daughter is not allowed to enter the palace except for madams and ladies of the same rank. Sabrina doesn't even have a chance to enter the palace. Even if I wanted to help her, my efforts would be useless." Valentina, Sabrina, you dare to ignore your status and shout at the legitimate daughter in front of grandmother. Do you even respect our grandmother? Valentina glanced at Sabrina indifferently, and there was reproach in her eyes. When Madame Hughes heard Valentina's words, there was a flash of displeasure in her eyes, but what Valentina said next made her forget it all. "Grandmother, according to the rules, I can bring someone into the palace for the Queen's birthday party. Can I bring Vivian into the palace?" Madame Hughes instantly beamed with joy. The purpose of her summoning Valentina there was to ask her to bring someone with her into the palace. That way, more children of the Hughes family could enter the palace. She was thinking about how to ask Valentina to bring someone with her, but Valentina had taken the initiative to propose the idea first. "Good idea. It's Vivian's fortune that you're willing to bring her into the palace." "Many thanks, Valentina," Vivian said excitedly. "Valentina, how can you be so partial? You treat me differently from others. Vivian is your younger sister, but so am I. Why do you want to bring her into the palace but not me?" Hearing that, Sabrina immediately questioned her. "Shut up." Eve quickly pulled Sabrina back. "Madame Hughes, please forgive her. She has never entered the palace and just wants to have a look. Madame Hughes, please forgive this child for her temperament. Please don't take it to heart. She has always been too straightforward." "Mother," Sabrina cried out with grievance. "Enough. Hurry up and apologize to your grandmother and Valentina." Sabrina was reluctant, but she muttered, "Grandmother, I was wrong. Valentina, please forgive me." Madame Hughes patted Valentina's hand and said sincerely, "Valentina, Sabrina is just impatient. Don't argue with her. You are sisters, so you must help each other. I know. I'm just reminding everyone that the palace is different from the mansion. If you do or say something wrong in the mansion, the elders of the family will only scold you. If you make a mistake in the palace, you may lose your life." Valentina said helplessly, "By the way, grandmother, I got a hairpin a few days ago, but I'm not resplendent enough to wear it, so I'm giving it to you. Leslie, please." Leslie quickly brought the hairpin over. When Madame Hughes saw it, her eyes lit up. Even Sarah and Eve's eyes shined. That was because the hairpin given by Valentina consisted of 3 solid gold hairpins of excellent craftsmanship, comparable to the gold hairpins in the inner palace. "Bring it over and let me have a look," Madame Hughes said hurriedly. Leslie quickly stepped forward and handed it over with both hands. Madame Hughes picked up the hairpin and couldn't help praising it. "Valentina, this hairpin is very exquisite. Where did you get it?" "Grandmother, do you know the Bright Jewel House? Isn't that the place that only high-ranking officials and nobles can go to?" "Yes, it's precisely that place. When my maternal grandmother heard that I was injured, she asked someone to send this hairpin to me. In my opinion, she didn't want to give it to me. She wanted to give it to you through me. She just couldn't do it herself," Valentina said. It was a lie that the former Duchess Matthews had sent someone to send the golden hairpin to Valentina. It was actually Andrew who had done so. She didn't expect his background to be so complicated. "Haha, girl, you even asked your grandmother to send such a gift. Be careful not to let her know, lest she teach you a lesson." "As long as you and I keep this a secret, she will never know." Valentina shook Madame Hughes's arm. "Grandmother, you won't go to my maternal grandmother and report me, will you?" "I won't let you." Fine. I won't do such petty things. You girls are getting naughtier and naughtier." Hey, it's all because you love me," Valentina said proudly. "All right, that's enough. All of you, leave. I'm tired. Young people like you should have your own fun." "Thank you, grandmother. I'll take my leave." Madame Hughes watched the group of people leave and joked with Mabel. "Valentina, that girl, after losing her memory, has become more and more lively. She is no longer as lifeless as before." Mabel smiled. Miss Valentina has experienced life and death, so she is more open-minded. It is said that once you survive a disaster, a blessing will await you. Miss Valentina is a blessed person indeed. I hope so. There was a flash of shrewdness in Madame Hughes' eyes, and she stopped talking